Super Bases Loaded 2, a slightly better than average baseball simulation game with nice Mode 7 visuals and some cool customization options. ESPN Baseball Tonight, a beautifully rendered baseball game with less than satisfying gameplay. Batting is harder than it should be, and fielding a ball is atrocious. NBA All-Star Challenge, an isometric half-court basketball game that focuses on single-player or one-on-one play. Definitely better sports games on the system. Here we have PGA European Tour. It's a fairly average golf title. Has some technical flaws, but overall pretty decent. You need to get the game and the manual. Champions World Class Soccer, a fairly average soccer title with some charming aspects like a lovable sports announcer and players getting emotional in responses to goals. Best of the Best Karate, a technical kickboxing game with ways to customize your fighter and level up their abilities. Pro Quarterback, a bare-bones football title with poor animations and lackluster visuals. Skip this one if you can. Sports Illustrated Championship Football and Baseball, a game that gives you options for two different sports and fails at delivering enjoyable experiences for both. Super Batter Up, a decent baseball title that shows similarities to their NES counterparts. RBI Baseball. Hal's Hole-in-One Golf, a solid 18-hole golf game with decent controls and a few different modes. Brett Hull Hockey, a 3/4 view 5-on-5 hockey simulation that tries to stand out from other hockey titles. Sound is decent and scrolling is smooth, however player animations are rough and it is very difficult to keep track of the puck. Super Soccer, a top-tier soccer title with entertaining gameplay and rockin' music. Next we have Super Battleship. This takes the board game and actually takes a more strategy approach to its combat. Al Unser Jr.'s Road to the Top. Race your way through the ranks with go-karts, snowmobiles, IROC, and Indy cars with advice from the racing legend. Offers a simple and competent racing experience. Vegas Stakes, 1993 gambling game put out by HAL Laboratory. So, you get your roulette, slots, blackjack, all that stuff. Okay, up next we have Frogger. Actually, this is the last produced Super Nintendo and Sega Genesis game that they put out in August 1998. Not a very good port of the game, though. Up next we have Hardball 3. This is an uncommon baseball game released in 1994. Lots of customization, creating logos and changing of gameplay experiences. This one's complete. Up next we have Jeopardy Sports Edition, a game show trivia game and released in 1994, only for hardcore sports games with dated facts. In stark contrast to our last hockey game, this is NHL Stanley Cup, which used some Mode 7 graphics, which looked cool, but overall was not a very great game. Do have this complete though, which is pretty awesome. Super Bases Loaded, a solid baseball title that encourages you to play the perfect game through choosing a team or building up your own. Next up we have Zoop, released in 1996, which is a fast-paced puzzle game where you eliminate rows of colors before entering your grid. Up next we have NHL 96. These hockey games are very good, and this one is just probably as good as NHL 94. It is put out by EA Sports. Have the poster and all the inserts to see the game. but it is cool that I have the receipt here. Next up we have Tecmo Super Baseball, a fairly average baseball game put out by Tecmo, of course. Super Slapshot, a 5-on-5 arcade hockey game that has decent graphics and music, but the gameplay lacks some depth. Up next we have NHL PA Hockey 93. This is the first hockey title on SNES released in December 1992. Great sound and nice animations. Pretty good game. Newman Haas IndyCar featuring Nigel Mansell. Race across 15 tracks from the 1994 IndyCar season. Large car sprites that cause accidents and dull oval tracks make this a pass. George Foreman's KO Boxing, a boxing title that strives to be Mike Tyson's Punch-Out, but fails due to the frenetic speed of the punches and the inability to react in time to learn your opponent. Next up we have Monopoly, based on the board game from 1992. It may actually be superior to the actual board game, with trade features and other options, which is cool. Roger Clemens MVP Baseball, a decent baseball simulation game that takes a different approach to fielding. Unfortunately, this change in perspective can be jarring and hinders rather than helps. MLB PA Baseball, a perfectly average baseball experience that neither excels nor fails at any key area. Road Riot 4-Wheel Drive, an awful port of Atari's 1991 arcade racer. Awful graphics, incredible slowdown, and no music during races make you want to avoid this title. Suzuka 8 Hours, a decent motorcycle game based off Namco's 1992 arcade cabinet. Offers a variety of race modes, including the main Race Tour mode, which allows you to progress to the top of the standings in an increasingly difficult tracks. Okay, we have Madden 98, the last SNES Madden game put out back in 1997. Pretty good game overall, but pretty similar to the 97. Have all the inserts here, except for the game. Power Moves, a subpar fighter which lacks a combo system and has bland locales, forgettable music, and generic characters. Super Off-Road, the Baja, a fairly average third-person racing title. Earn rewards at the end of each race to upgrade your vehicle, but beware of fires, rocks, and other racers to avoid fines and damage to your truck. Alright, next up we have Super Pinball Behind the Mask. This is a pinball game from 1994. 3 play fields with a simple, accessible pinball game. This is complete. Lord of Darkness, another Koei strategy game based in feudal Japan. Long and complex battles for dedicated strategy fans. Revolution X, a decent first-person rail shooter where you rescue the members of Aerosmith. Very challenging shooting sections and varied stages might keep you coming back for this one. The Sporting News Power Baseball, a better than average baseball simulation. This game allows you to customize your own player and participate in a variety of challenges. Definitely a baseball title worth your time. Super Bases Loaded 3, another competent entry in the baseball simulation series. Tough AI players and hard to get home runs add a little frustration. Play Super Bases Loaded 2 for a more balanced play experience. Wing Commander. This is a shooter flight simulator. Has some beautiful animated sprite work, music, and dialogue. This makes for an awesome sci-fi flight sim. Championship Soccer 94, a solid soccer game that allows you to create a custom neighborhood league or national team. Players of any skill level are welcome. We have Kid Clown and Crazy Chase. This is an uncommon action game released by Kimco. It has 5 isometric stages to lead Kid Clown safely down ramps. However, it's pretty difficult to gauge the jumps. Super Baseball Simulator 1000, an enjoyable baseball sim which allows players to unlock superhuman abilities to use on the field with ultra plays. A few rough edges, but overall a fun time. Next up we have Hyperzone. This is a rail-like shooter made by HAL Laboratory. Overall a good shooter, but not great. Next up we have Mrs. Pac-Man. This is a port of the arcade classic released in September 1996. 1 or 2 players, and it is absolutely fantastic. And it is complete. Dragon's Lair. Dirk the Daring must rescue Princess Daphne from the dragon Singe. It's a functional platformer played with needlessly challenging gameplay. Kawasaki Caribbean Challenge, a subpar racer where you race on a motorcycle or jet ski from a top-down perspective. Squirrely controls and subpar graphics keep this one from being a good racer. Wheel of Fortune Deluxe Edition. Sealed. Based on the popular TV show, an updated version of the earlier release, Wheel of Fortune. Pacing is a bit slow, but serviceable. Up next we have Dennis the Menace, which is an action platformer loosely based on the movie. Frustrating controls make for this to be a subpar experience, though. Jam It, a terrible 1v1 street basketball game. Avoid this one with its crazy, hard opponents, terrible controls, and muddy visuals. NBA Jam, a classic arcade basketball game with all 27 NBA teams from the 1993 to 94 season. Player models could be better, and having more music would be nice, but the gameplay keeps you coming back for more. Genghis Khan, Clan of the Grey Wolf, another one of Koei's intense strategy games. Battles are engaging, but add to the overall length of the game. Next up we have Outlander, an action and racing game, Road Warrior versus Road Rash vibe in a post-apocalyptic setting. Very hard game though. Up next we have World Heroes. This is a fighting game that takes historical figures from history like Rasputin and Jeanne d'Arc into combat. Not as great on gameplay though. Next we have Judge Dredd, which is an action platformer based on the Sylvester Stallone movie. Dredd's gun has a variety of different attacks. Pretty engaging and fun game. Next we have Pitfall, The Mayan Adventures. This is an action platformer starring Harry Jr., the son of Pitfall Harry from the Atari. It's a decent platformer. Super Baseball 2020, a solid port of the 1991 Neo Geo arcade game. Replace human players for robots. Spend funds on power-ups and more add to the fun of this baseball game. Super Mario RPG, Japanese version. The same amazing RPG starring our beloved Mario and friends. Has regional differences such as dialogue, name changes, and victory poses. Additionally, the controls on screen use the Super Famicom buttons and colors. Next up we have Acme Animation Factory, an art, animation, and music composition program that has flaws on music control and presentation. Not the greatest. Next up we have American Gladiators, an action sports game based on the 90s TV show. Some variety in the minigames, but genuinely unrewarding. Next up we have Lagoon, which is a top-down action RPG released in December 1991. It's a decent RPG with not so great combat. Next up we have Choplifter 3, a side-scrolling action shooter where you control a combat helicopter to shoot down foes and rescue hostages. Fun, challenging shooter. Bram Stoker's Dracula, an action platformer based on the movie. Mostly a bland adventure with very slippery controls. Not recommended. Next we have Draken, which is an RPG that is menu heavy and it has some frustrating random monster encounters. Definitely falls short of other RPGs on the SNES. The Jungle Book, an enjoyable platformer starring the jungle child Mowgli as he evades the forces of the dangerous tiger Shere Khan. As most Disney games during this period, platforming is solid, the music is upbeat, and the graphics are impressive. NCAA Final Four Basketball, a fairly bland college basketball game with blurry character models and constant sound of squeaky sneakers.